Welcome back to Watching Film. Today we're going to look at the Cincinnati offense. They're led by quarterback Desmond Ridder. They return a good amount of production from last year, but they have improved at the skill positions, in my opinion. I think they're a little more explosive in the backfield. I think your back's a little more explosive and your receivers are more explosive than what you had last year. Lost a good tight end, but you're replacing them with a couple of decent guys. They'll do different personnel groupings. You'll see some two-back stuff, so some 20. You'll see some 12 with two tight ends. You'll see 11, one back, one tight end, three receivers. You'll see some 10 personnel, a back, four receivers. So they kind of mix it up a little bit, and they do some really interesting and really cool stuff on offense. So we'll start with their run game. So we'll start here with kind of a wide, one of their staple plays, kind of to me, looks like almost like a wide zone. I think they have something here. It looks like the back can maybe cut it back. They'll kind of wrap him in here. And I think if you get flow, the back can cut it back because there's been plays where he'll cut it and kind of behind this puller. But otherwise, it looks kind of like a wide zone. And there's Dokes. He's a good player. Then you also have, I think we skipped one here. So this is Cincinnati in the white here. They wore white in the first game against Austin Peay. This looks to be what it appears to be a duo play where you get double teams. This is kind of an NFL concept. The center goes away from the run, so that's why I don't think it's inside zone. And so duo, I think as far as my understanding of duo, it's kind of a pro concept. You're kind of looking at the linebacker, and you can kind of get your read on him. So he bounces it. Pretty good run. But again, this is a concept you'll see them running short yardage too out of different personnel groupings. But there it looks like you see kind of that tight formation there. I think it looks like duo to me. Then you have some quarterback run game stuff where you'll motion the back out of the backfield. So you'll get a 5-man box. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many offensive linemen do I have? I also have 5. So now the quarterback's +1 here. So we're even in the count in the box. So the quarterback draw is a good play call. And then Ritter's a good athlete and can make stuff happen with his feet. So you got that part of the run game. Then they'll get in this 11 personnel look with a tight end as a wing. They'll run zone with the split zone where he's coming across the formation, kicking out the backside guy. But they'll also run this variation of it, which is kind of like it's a wing insert or like a wing ISO. So he'll insert into the line of scrimmage here, ISO, that linebacker, back follows him and makes a great cut. This is what I'm talking about there. You get a holding call here, which is kind of I thought it was a little, ticky-tack. But this is the explosiveness I don't think they had last year as much. Warren was a great back, but he wasn't quite as explosive. I mean, that's a great move in open field for a touchdown. And then they'll also run some jet stuff. A lot of people love the jet motion. They do it with a little flip. And here's kind of where they're a little more explosive than they were last year. This is Austin Peay, but still you have some explosiveness there at the receiver position. Good cut in the open field, then finishes the play into the end zone. And then like most people do off the jet, especially if you're going to run a wing here, a lot of people like the jet, and then come back with some type of counter, kick, wrap. Here you see you get a pretty good kick ball. This guy does a pretty good job of closing down on it. Well, they're still able to get 5 for the first down, or at least pretty close to it. Put themselves in a 3rd and short. But that's going to be part of the jet package. They'll probably also have a throw off of it, so expect to see that. And then in the goal line short yardage, they'll come to this wildcat. So here's Ridder actually in the backfield to start the play. He motions out. Now we got wildcat or wild bearcat, you may say. And it's just downhill. They'll run some other stuff. I think they have power and some of their other run game off of it. But it's just kind of wildcat. It'll be something short yardage. You'll see it on the goal line. They've also added, I think, some RPO stuff. I don't remember them doing a ton of this last year. And they've also added tempo. They're going a lot faster, I believe, than they did last year, if I recall correctly. I'm not sure if they were a tempo team, but they seem to be higher tempo this year. So here you're going to have zone read. The back's in a motion over. Come back this way. We're going to read in man on the line of scrimmage for the zone. And he's also going to run like a wide fade. So you see slot fade. This is kind of a tight end fade or wing fade. So right here, he closes, quarterback pulls it. Now what I imagine is happening here is that if this guy comes to fill, his head's going to turn around and we're going to throw the ball there. If he runs, no, he doesn't come to fill, right? So if he runs with this, he's running with it, his back's turned, well now he's just going to keep it. That could just be a runoff, but I think it could also be like they could run an RPO out of this look, where if this guy fills right now, he can turn his head around, you can throw it to him. Well, this may just be zone read with a runoff, but I think this guy's starting to look back once he gets closer to the goal line here, like he might get the ball thrown to him. Either way, it's an effective play. And this is what I think is for sure kind of an RPO look here. Here's the zone slice that we talked about earlier. Coming to kick out. He comes to fill for the run. And now you got a slant coming right behind it. So the quarterback just got eyes on him. He fills for the run. There's a huge window to throw into. Ridder flips his feet, makes an accurate throw to the receiver. So that's kind of the transition, right? The RPO is kind of the transition between the run game and the pass game. So let's look at their pass game. They'll do some quick game stuff with motion here. This is quick game, but it's also kind of some air raid stuff. To me, this is Y cross. You got to go. You got to speed out. He's running the deep crosser. And you can kind of tag. Some guys will tag a big dig behind that. You could tag other stuff there too. So if you don't like that, if these guys drive on this too hard, you come back to him here. If you don't like that, you got whatever's coming behind him. So it's a little air raid. Some of their pass game stuff is they got some of the air raid stuff. So Y cross, big air raid play. Here's another quick game. This is basically stick, kind of the same idea, but condensed formations, speed out, probably a hitch where he turns outside. He may have the option to break that out as well. But if you're off, just take the easy throw, break a tackle, and now you can see some of the explosiveness that I don't think they had this last year at receiver. They were not this explosive. So that's one element they've added from last season to this year. And then another air raid staple here, mesh, motion. All right, we got a cross. We got a cross. Back gets out. So it would appear they're running it this way. Possibly over the ball. The back gets out. So if you get, this is one thing they're not afraid to do is get the ball in their back's hands quickly. Their backs are good receivers, and they'll throw them the ball and get them in their hands quickly. So this is mesh, air raid staple. But they do some different, they run it a few different ways. So now they've motioned with the tight end. They've motioned the tight end from here to there. And now they're still going to run the mesh, but they're going to run, instead of the back in the flat, he's going to run a wheel. So this is one of their touchdowns against Army. So you see here the mesh is happening, crosser, over the ball. And now instead of being in the flat, the back's taking it up the sideline, and watch how open you get him here with all the other movement. Nice catchable ball for a touchdown. But again, that's just a little takeoff on mesh. What Cincinnati does a good job with the passing game is having base plays and then making little adjustments off it. You'll see another one to end here. This is a call on 4th and 2 when you know you're going to get pressure here. You have him go deep. He's coming on a shallow right now, and then you have the back from this side slip out there. One of these guys is going to spring free probably, you're thinking, and it's the back. Great call. You get a back matched up on a linebacker and man-to-man because you know you're getting pressure on a 4th and short. And then there's Dokes again, dropping it off to him, letting him get the ball in space and making a play. Here's what I think their shot play is. And they'll call it, I think, from the inside. Looks like kind of a inside. It's a version of Mills to me. Mills is the old Steve Spurrier staple where you have a dig in front of the safety and you got a post behind it and you kind of can high-low this guy. So here they take a shot to it. So there you can see he's got eyes on the dig. His feet stop. So now I got a one-on-one to the post over his head. And a little bit better throw. Might be a touchdown here. But they hit the same concept here against Army. This time it's the number 1 and number 2 receiver running it instead of 2 and 3. That'll probably be based on coverage. They can bump it inside or outside. So you can see 2's kind of running a dig here, and you'll really see it. And there's kind of the post behind it. You'll really get a good look at it here from the end zone copy here of the game. So you can see here comes your dig right here in this window. I could throw in that window, but he's kind of lurking. But as soon as I see his body lean forward and see that forward lean right there, I know I have the post. So reset, and then look at that window for the post right there. That's just good design, and then you got good players. If I can lead him a little bit with that throw, it's probably an easy touchdown. Slowed him down a little bit, but still a huge play in the passing game. And then this is another air raid staple. To me, it looks like Y corner. So you got a kind of a snag route, corner route, flat route. This is an air raid staple. Great one. You get a triangle read here. You kind of get a high-low right here. And then a horizontal stretch between the snag and the flat. So high-low between the flat and the corner, horizontal stretch between the snag and the flat. Right, if they get caught up here, just take the throw to the flat to the tailback, which they do a great job of. But then watch this. So if you run this play a lot, people start to see it and they realize, okay, when that snag's coming in, the safety might see, okay, I'm going to jump the corner. I'm going to play for the corner because they run that corner so much. Now they do a little subtle variation of it here. 2nd and 20. Looks like snag, flat. He comes out just like he's going to run the corner, and then he snaps it to the post. So just a little subtle variation. Like I said earlier, they do a great job of kind of setting you up. They run their base plays, and they have little changes off of it. So right there, it looks the same to the defense. To here, to the defense, this looks exactly the same as the play before. Probably break it to the corner. You see he's got his hips opened and running to the corner. And then I snap it off, and the quarterback makes a really good throw in a pretty tight window here to pick up the first down. I think the Cincinnati offense is much improved from last year. They coming into the game last year, they didn't really put a lot of a lot of fear in me as a coach watching it. I didn't think they were super athletic. I thought USF could kind of hang with them a little bit. They seem a lot more explosive and a lot more athletic. They had good plans last year. I think they have great plans again this year. You have a good scheme. So now it's going to be, can you slow them down when I think they're a little more explosive? So now can you put yourself in those situations where you're playing man coverage against more explosive players to try to be aggressive and stop the run? They're going to put USF in some binds. USF's going to have a great plan and really execute well to be able to slow down this Bearcat offense.